Okay, let's dive into this. You know that thing when you hear, say, a man and a woman singing the same song? It sounds totally in sync, perfectly matched, but obviously different, right? One voice is high, the other is low, but it feels like they're hitting the exact same note. Well, that weirdly perfect connection is exactly what we're going to break down today, the octave. So that's the big question, isn't it? How can two sounds be identical and distinct at the very same time? It sounds kind of like a riddle, but it's actually rooted in some really beautiful, simple science. So let's pull back the curtain on this fundamental building block of pretty much all music. All right, first things first, let's get on the same page. We'll start with what an octave feels like to our ears, and then we'll connect that feeling to the actual science that makes it all work. So here's the deal. An octave is basically the musical space between two notes that have the same name, like a C and the very next C you find on a keyboard. The secret sauce behind it is a perfect mathematical relationship. The higher note vibrates exactly twice as fast as the lower one. That's it. That's the secret. Now, this brings us to a really important idea, the difference between what we hear and what's actually physically happening. Pitch is all about our brain's interpretation, that a bass sounds low and a flute sounds high. But frequency, that's the hard data. It's the actual measurable speed of the sound waves themselves. So why is it called an octave? Well, the name itself is a massive clue about how music is organized, and it all comes down to the number 8. That's right, octo. Just like an octopus has 8 arms, or an octagon has 8 sides, and this is no coincidence. It's because the octave is the finish line for the most common musical structure we use. Let's see this in action. If we just count up the notes in a super basic C major scale, we get C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and what's the 8th note? It's C again. We've made it all the way back to where we started, just higher. That journey of 8 notes is basically the blueprint for tons of music we listen to every day. Okay, now for the really cool part. We're going to go under the hood and look at the physics, the secret formula that makes octaves sound so perfect and, well, right to our ears. So, to talk about frequency, we need a way to measure it. And that unit is called hertz, or hertz for short. It's actually incredibly simple. If a sound wave is vibrating 100 times per second, its frequency is just 100 hertz. That's all there is to it. Let's take a standard note that musicians all over the world use for tuning, the note A. Its frequency is 440 hertz. That means its sound wave is vibrating back and forth 440 times every single second. So, what happens when we go one octave higher? Think back to that rule we just talked about. If our starting A is 440 hertz, what do you think the frequency of the A, one octave above it, is going to be? Boom, 880 hertz. It's just simple math, 440 times 2. This super clean 2-to-1 ratio is what our brains instantly recognize as harmonious and stable. It's pretty much the purest, most perfect interval in all of music. Here's a great way to actually visualize this. Picture a guitar string. If you press your finger down exactly at the halfway point, that's the 12th fret for any guitar players out there, and you pluck it, the note that rings out is precisely 1 octave higher. By cutting the vibrating length in half, you force it to vibrate twice as fast. That's physics in action right there. And hey, this isn't just theory. Let's look at where you can find octaves all around you, from the instruments in your favorite songs to the one you were literally born with. Octaves are, and I mean this literally, everywhere in music. They're built right into the design of pianos and guitars. They give this incredible power to an orchestra when all the different instruments play the same melody in different octaves. And yeah, your own voice has a range that we measure in octaves. This is especially clear when we look at singing. Most people who are just singing for fun in the car probably have a range of about 1.5 to 2 octaves, but a trained professional singer, they can have a massive range of 4 or even 5 octaves. That incredible flexibility is what lets them hit those breathtaking high notes and those super deep low notes. The octave is even a physical thing you can see and feel. On a standard piano keyboard, the distance from one C key to the next C key is about 16.5 centimeters. For most adults, that's a pretty comfortable span for your hand, from your thumb to your pinky. You can literally reach out and touch an octave. Okay, in our final section, let's see how this ancient concept is more important than ever. It's basically the backbone of the technology that creates the music we listen to every day. Every modern music producer uses octaves, even if they're doing it through software. Pitch shifting a vocal track to make it higher. That's the software just doing the octave math. Adding a deep sub-octave to a synthesizer to make the bass sound huge, same thing. Even something like auto-tune works because the program knows the exact target frequencies for every note in every single octave. And this, to me, is maybe the most incredible fact of all. The octave isn't just a Western idea. It is a human universal. Almost every single musical culture on Earth, from Indian classical music to traditional folk music from all over, recognizes this 2-to-1 frequency relationship as fundamental. It's like our brains are hardwired to hear that simple perfection. So the next time you listen to your favorite song, listen for it. Listen for the bass line that's doubling the melody an octave lower. Listen for the harmony singer hitting the same note, just an octave higher. Now that you know the secret formula, you might just unlock a whole new level of appreciation for the music you already love.